Okay, hi everyone. Me and my friend Dima is here. We are happy to see you all. Welcome to another. I just realized that I hear myself because I opened the video in another tab. Sorry.
Ah,
Yeah. So anyway, we're really glad to see you all. Just make us a tiny favor, put down in the comments where you're coming from, and your name if your handle is not your name, which is the most cases. Dima, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to be back home after our offsite. I think it was more than 2 weeks ago, right?
Well, we returned last week, so yeah, you could
Yeah,
say that. You could say that.
yeah.
It was a really wonderful time when we actually managed to meet some people that we have worked with for a long time already, uh, to meet them face to face first time. It was great. It was amazing. Hey, we have David already here from Sweden. Yay! It's getting international. Uh, PL. What is P? I always forget what PL stands for.
From the accounting side of me, it's like profit and loss, but I guess it's Poland.
Okay. That's a great site. Yeah, so we managed to see some people face to face, to really add some more dimensions to the characters and the people that we chatting with and working with on a daily basis. So it was great. Dima, how was it for you?
It was amazing. I think it was really fun, and when the team grows, and since our previous offsite, which we grew almost twice as much people in the offsite,
Yeah.
so it's always the expectations are always changing in terms of what you can possibly do because also this operationally like it grows much harder. But I must say that Tamar from our operations team did an amazing job. She's really, I don't know, like a magician.
Absolutely.
Pulled it off, and I really had a great time with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, actually, regarding the 0.16 release, which is not out officially yet, um, the actual last cycle was a bit shorter because of the offsite event that we had. But we still have some really exciting things that we would like to share. So let's jump straight into this. Let me share my screen. We back to the cool presentations again.
Nice. I
Yeah.
want the template for this one. Like it looks so much better than the ones I do. So
So the first thing that we have in store today, oh, we have Sachin from India. Nice to see you. By the way, regarding the questions and everything that you would like to maybe ask us or to comment, feel free to do it anytime during the presentation. Of course, once we can um, address this, we will do, and we will answer all the questions that you guys might have. And of course, at the end, we have the Q&A where you can ask questions not necessarily related directly to what we are showing and presenting here, but yeah, so just stick around. So the first thing that we want to show is the in-app in the integration store. That's how it looks like. Basically, when you go to the integration store, you have the email providers, you have the SMS providers, and we decided to also put the in-app because it's actually our most used channel, right, Dima?
yeah, one of the more used ones we have, definitely.
Exactly. And it just makes sense to have it in the integration store, to have it just right there, to click on it, to make sure you understand that all the channels are there and divided in a order that makes sense. Um, Another thing is actually not
So
uh,
even before we go back, like maybe for the
uh,
previous one, I think it
yeah,
was I'm the one to blame. It wasn't there in the from the get go because I like when we just started Novo was one of the big pains we and Tomer really felt before anything was existing at all. It's like okay, the in-app thing, we kind of need this and we really want to have it. So what can we do? In the quickest manner we can is like, yeah, we have the integration store, but then it's like, yeah, but it will be too much time to kind of connect it there. We'll solve it one day, and uh, and then the one day is has arrived because it was like all the team was like, yeah, we need to move it already. Like it doesn't make sense where it is right now. It's very hard to discover. We have introduced a lot of SDKs since then, and a lot of guides and a lot of content around how you can use it. And on the actual application, the only way we've been showing you is the first way we had of integrating the notification center, which was using
yeah.
the iframe embed, which is one of the least kind of uh, intuitive ways of doing so, so to speak. So we really kind of decided to make this move. We had to do some kind of background and changes in the way we treat the notification center and when we store some of the information and etc. Um, and then after that, one of the things that kind of popped up when it comes to the actual notification center is the way we treat it, and kind of is if we treat it as just a regular provider and like also in the same location, it will also help us to expand it also in the future for other kind of correlation between the different channels we have. And
Can you give a bit like as a tiny example of how you see it happening or the
yeah,
future
so
of
I think kind of just conceptually, we were still wrapping it behind the same kind of interface as all the other channels we had, but because the settings were connected under the kind of environment level, so you couldn't really have duplicate and different variations of the in-app or different flavors, so to speak, of the notification center, where you could define specific rule set for each individual instance of the notification center. So this is something that couldn't be done previously, and now kind of it gives us the flexibility to actually do that. And looking kind of into the future, specifically for the people who are self-hosting, there will be needed to be a migration to actually enable the notification center once you move to the new version. We have a migration script. We'll provide it also in the release notes and docs on how to actually do that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'm really excited about this change, and going forward, I think it's one of the things that I hope will really matter in that sense.
Let us know in the comments what do you think. Like, you can just even put a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'm biased, so I could not do it. And I think that Dima biased as well from the story right now. um, Okay, so the next thing is the feature flag model. And this is something that is not a feature per se, but is more of a concept that we starting to work with. Basically, every time that we implement a new feature or working on new features, we want to make as less modifications to the source code as possible. And basically, maybe Dima could even elaborate a bit more on the actual use of that and why we decided to go with that approach, and maybe even what are we using for this. So Dima, would you like to hop into this?
Yeah, sure. So I think what we want to make sure is that we can still keep the very high velocity of introducing changes to the system, but in a lot of the cases, some of those changes are not finalized yet or not ready yet to be published to the world, basically. So what it allows us is basically to merge the ongoing work in a much more frequent way with the main branch of the system and kind of the deployable branch of the way. Usually, what happens, you work on a very big feature, you kind of wait until the end to merge it, and then tons of conflicts, and it's like always a mess. And there is a lot of risk involved because you're managing a very big project at once to your production branch. So feature flagging basically allows us to hide particular features behind a feature flag and only introduce it when we decide to show it to the users. For example, it might be a new screen, or we've done it with the template store as well, is until we've finalized, it was already part of Novu for a few weeks, and then we just kind of flip the switch to actually make it accessible to users. What it also will allow us is to create more of the beta kind of early enthusiast users that are okay with having the preview of some of the features a bit earlier than others, so they can play with it, and we can roll out the feature in a much more gradual way. And in some case where unfortunately something went wrong, we can also flip the switch off without redeploying a whole new version. So it's just like a very easy way for us to toggle the functionality of it. And yeah, I think those are kind of the main aspects of why we decided to do it. It's a very common practice in the engineering world to have it. It was a matter of time until we will introduce something like this with the team, but um, we thought that it's a good timing for us, specifically as we grow with the number of people and the number of contributors and kind of the things that are going on. We want to keep the velocity of developing new features as efficient as we can, and being a small team.
Yeah.
Um, and one of the tools, at your disposal, obviously there's nothing like a magic wand to solve everything, but hopefully it will allow us to ship more frequently and with more confidence, basically, once
Yeah.
we do it.
It definitely makes sense. And I especially really excited about um, the possibility of creating this beta testers or folks who would like um, the
The
access before, yeah, the early adapters, the early birds, who could help us maybe to evaluate the current features, maybe to suggest some new changes, or just to help us understand if it's really already ready for all our users. So again, this is a very cool functionality in my opinion, and I'm really glad that we got to the point where it's an option.
Yeah, and I think maybe one last cool thing that we've done is, because we are also using a vendor for the feature management functionality. Basically, we're working with Launch Directly together on this one.
Mhm.
We also created a fallback mechanism so we can still utilize environment variables features for self-hosted users. So in case you are self-hosting and not using our cloud platform, we don't want to require people to kind of set up Launch Directly and do from all of these things. We
Yeah.
also can fall back to an environment variable as a feature flag, so you can turn it on your self-hosted or local machine
Mhm.
as well. So this one is, I think, a really nice implementation one of our teammates has created, and I think it's really cool.
Amazing. Right. What we have next? Oh, okay. So this is a feature. And here we have, if you remember, some time ago, again, as part of the office hours event, we introduced the email predefined provider, where we enable the option for all our users to send, I think, the first 300 emails or 300 emails per month for free, like on using Novu's provider as a default, just to get the sense and to get the ball rolling. So you would not need to, like, okay, you just discovered Novu, you test things out, you try to understand if this is really working for you or not. And that's where the email predefined provider was introduced. So you would not need to go and also take care of the integration to get your provider, to pick a provider, to get it into Novu, to start to see how it works together. Just out of the box emails, and right now we have out of the box SMS for you to go test it out, to see how it works right away. And I think that it was just a matter of time, as I can recall from our previous conversations. Dima, would you like to add anything else to the SMS predefined?
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it perfectly. I think the main thing for us with the predefined SMS provider was really to showcase the abilities of Novo without going through the hassle of setting up everything
Yeah,
from the get-go. So you can see if it works for your needs and then decide to integrate with your any of your SMS providers. So uh, yeah, I think it's kind of a big theme we had to help newcomers to kind of see what Novo can do in the easiest possible way, and this was one of the things that we did to to help.
absolutely. Actually, I on that note, I think it would be really appropriate to mention that we also I believe. Okay, maybe it's not merged yet, but during the last week, we also added few quick start guides to help new users and people that discovering Novu to onboard faster. And we have there a PHP quick start and Node.js, vanilla JavaScript, React, Angular, Next.js, maybe more. I'm not sure, but the point is that we really want to help you, your friends, your team to onboard as fast as possible to understand how Novu operates, how to just play around with it, and I don't know, create a POC to see to showcase it to someone and to decide as easy as it can be to just, hey, well, Novu is really cool. It's easy to use. It's easy to integrate. It's easy to onboard. Let's maybe try it out for our use case. So yeah, just as a side note. And okay, and lastly, and we actually prepare and put this as the last feature and the last update is the template store. Um, I today actually recorded this screenshot. I hope that you would enjoy it. At least, okay, I need to share my screen. Okay, so we have here basically when you go to your workflows, you can decide to create a new workflow, the usual like flow how it has been before. But right now, you also can just go and click on a template store. In this video, I think it's showing it a bit fast. So, oh, give me a moment. All right. Yeah. So we have it here. Ah. Okay. I hope you can see the screen now.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Good. So in the workflow, you have this drop down button. You can start a blank workflow. That was the default way to do it before. And right now, you also have all templates. Basically, this is the template store. Here specifically, I click on the template store. We will show it in a second. But you probably in the top, Dima, correct me if I'm wrong, but you will get the most used templates. That's what we are aiming for. So you can start right away with the content of those workflow. If maybe a message, a notification itself, a digestion part, and just help you get started and not to think, okay, so I picked a workflow, I clicked on it, I started to play around with it. Now I need to think about creating the content for it, to write what I want the notification to say. It's a real hustle. Again, it's all about losing and reducing the hustling part. And Dima, would you like? I think that it's really exciting. So Dima, would you like to maybe jump in and say a few more words about it?
Yeah, so we kind of started, as with a lot of the things we do, we started with an assumption of maybe it will be useful. We started, okay, what is the basic thing we can do to test our assumption out. And we decided on creating, not going over the top, we created a thing over 7 or 8. I don't think you have the updated version here on the screen, but there is like almost 7 or 8 different templates in the system to kind of choose from. And we decided, okay, let's see if people are excited about this or using it. And we definitely seen since the launch that a lot of people are using it, are really excited about creating and starting out, checking things out. And I think one of the things we have seen is that we have the newcomers, right, that they are interacting with this for the first time when they like seeing this empty state of the workflows page, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and then we have the people who are already part of the platform, but they might have other ideas of, okay, what else I can use Novu for. And on the other hand, also, how can I achieve particular types of behaviors? For example, a combination of digest filters, and kind of a combined way of using Novu, basically, um, out of it, which was a really interesting kind of experiment for us to see where it will go. And I think we definitely kind of realized, okay, this is working. We can spend a bit more time in thinking about different templates we can add there. And this is kind of a call for papers, I think, also, uh, to, if you have some ideas, go over to our Discord, and maybe, Emil, we can set up at some point some kind of a bit more smarter way of kind of submitting ideas,
Absolutely.
to it. But yeah, I think it's something that was really nice kind of thing. We thought about it for a while, and then we said, yeah, let's just do it, and here it is.
Yeah, so it's definitely, we call you all. By the way, I want just to also say hi to the folks that joined, the Jonan and Harrison and Sumit. Nice to see you all here. So we definitely would like you to participate in creating those workflows, templates, just to help people to understand what maybe you are doing and what is your most used workflow or how you approach this. I remember I did this with another tool, and then when I was talking with the support team or something, they said that I've created the biggest workflow overall of that they have seen, and like I felt really good about it, and it was really cool to do. But again, maybe you have a really unique approach, maybe with your marketing folks, maybe I don't know the way you conduct this sort of structure of how you communicate to users and how you can maybe help others communicate better with their users through notifications. And that's why we have the workflow, the template store, for you to just input your ideas, input your approach, and for us, for other users, for all the community to learn from. So really, we invite you all to participate in this. It's really awesome, and we will be really thankful to learn more about how you are using Novu. um, yeah. So, do we have anything else regarding the template store? Oh, we have David here asking if template store is cloud only feature.
So basically, what we're doing, we are fetching the templates. The templates are kind of centralized, managed on our platform. So in that sense, they're still kind of hidden under the feature flag on the community version, but is already available under the actual cloud version deployment. You can still preview this on your end, on the self-hosted version uh,
Mhm.
as well. But yeah, the goal is it will be available for all types of users.
Okay. So, in other words, what Dimo wants to say, or what Dimo could say, or I could say, is that if you want to just test the features out as fast as they are being released, of course, try the cloud version, the Novu.co version, and just experience those things, how it looks like, how it functions, and let us know what you think. Mostly on Discord, it will be probably the most useful place, but of course GitHub and other places that you see that we are active at. Good. This is actually a great transition to the how to contribute to Novu. So if you would like to contribute, if you would like to become a part of the community and to help us to tackle different features and to tackle different needs and pains that you might experience, that you know that other people experience, just go to our issue page on GitHub, pick something that you think that you would like to tackle and to work with. Let us know, just tag someone and just maybe plainly write there, I would like to work on that feature, and we probably will assign you in no time. And yeah, that will be a great addition to what we are doing. Of course, if you would like to work on an SDK that we not currently supporting, I think that Python is still in building. I think that Java is still missing. Please let us know, or just maybe start to work on this and help us to create this so as many people as possible could benefit from this product, from this project. It would be really awesome. And of course, if you have questions, the best place to do it by far is to join our Discord server, to go to the support channel and open your post. Once you typing your question, the engine here, the search engine, will probably just feature all the things that have the keywords that you already typed, so you could maybe jump into another conversation, or maybe to have your answer even without posting this. So it's really a great way to interact with us and get the support. We have here a question. So John asked, "Are issue beginner friendly for Novu platform for TypeScript developers?" Dima, what will be your answer for this?
So Novu is a big platform in terms of the code base, but we have quite a big variety. So the system itself, we are very TypeScript friendly. We are like, I think all of the code base is mostly written in TypeScript. I was taking a look at it a few days back. I think it was like 90% TypeScript and 4% Python and 1.8% JavaScript and 1.3% HTML and
But we're
0.4.
not biased. We're not biased.
We're not
We're on
biased.
TypeScript.
The
Yeah.
majority is written in TypeScript, so you definitely can find yourself home with the TypeScript kind of language within Novu.
Yeah.
And regarding the actual feature complexity, usually we would add something like a good first issue. Some of the issues we might forget or miss to add this kind of flag for it. So what I suggest is kind of try to go over the good first issues first if there is no ones that are assigned there, or otherwise you can take a peek at the issues, and if it looks like something that you could handle or like something that you would love to do, you can also write the questions or kind of also use the Discord channel to get some help from our community to kind of how to navigate and how to start and maybe where to look and get some guidance of how you could help with a particular thing in there.
Yeah. Do we have? Do you want to slightly discuss the upcoming cycle that you and your team are working on?
Yeah. So one of the few things we've been tackling in the upcoming months is the first one is the multi-provider configuration. And this is basically the ability to connect multiple email providers, multiple SMS providers to Novu and kind of manage them once they are enabled in a sense. So you can either override which one you would love to use over the API, or when it comes more towards the multi-tenancy use case, is specify a particular tenant that you could actually use to a specified tenant that you can actually say, hey, for this particular tenant, I want to use this particular configuration automatically. So you don't have to kind of manually.
Can you give an example, like how it would operate?
Yeah. So, for example, you are, let's say, a CRM software for, I don't know, like financial constitutions, and you have a very big client, which is maybe the Bank of America or whatever. Um,
Perfect.
And in that case, let's say this customer asks and says you, hey, I will need the notifications to be working to coming from my authorized domain, my dedicated IP instances, and maybe I will have to use Mailgun because of GDPR or whatever. You cannot use a US based, let's say, email provider.
Okay.
So basically, what you can say is you can create another configuration inside Novo and to say, hey, whenever this particular trigger happens on this particular rule set, let's say a tenant ID or a particular subscriber ID, you can actually, Novu can actually smartly select the appropriate provider configuration for this particular execution. And you don't have to manually manage it on your own behalf.
Mhm.
Another use.
So just to clarify before the other use case, so basically you connect a different provider, for example, to each workflow. Like if we, um,
So providers are still managed in the integration store, and one of
right.
the key goals for us is that we want to decouple the delivery from the actual management of the workflow. So the integration store basically facilitates the rules when to use a particular provider. So you don't
Hmm.
specify it manually on each workflow, but you
Got it.
create the conditions and the rule sets of, okay, I want to use this provider when this happens in that sense. This
Hmm.
also kind of some of the preliminary work we needed to do to allow smarter routing policies for things
Hmm.
like fallback and etc. So when this fails, try this one and kind of create these more elaborate mechanisms. But before that, we needed to create kind of to break the law of single email provider per channel first. And this is where we will be starting in this cycle as well. And the multi-tenancy management functionality that we are starting to work on. So you can actually manage multiple tenants inside the system. Let's say you're a B2B company and you want to have different configurations or management settings per individual tenant in your system. So you can actually say, okay, for this customer, use this particular email layout or styling or colors or whatever, and for that
Hmm.
one, use those. And then when you send the trigger, you just specify the tenant ID, and Novo will be actually smart enough to select the relevant tenant and extract all the necessary configurations associated to it. It might be the providers, it might be the layouts, templates. And in the future, hopefully also configurations. Let's say this customer wants to have for all of his end users, he wants to have a particular digest and like so you can actually customize this
Interesting.
in a
Interesting.
in an easy way.
So should it be look like some sort of another node, or is it on more the tenant level configuration? Like,
So it's
like
more, hopefully, you will not have to manage everything again and again manually. This is kind of on the configuration level. You can do it on the API or in the UI. But the goal is that you can actually specify the rules and then Novo will select the appropriate rule automatically for you. So it's not a node, it's just a matter of configuring the existing, let's say, welcome email you have or friend
yeah,
request email or whatever. And you can have tenant specific customization to this whole flow.
got it. Anything else that you plan for the cycle?
So we're always doing a lot of kind of the usual kind of improvements and fixes and bug fixes and kind of the smaller stuff, but all of them usually we kind of put it out, including the community contributions as part of the release notes.
Yeah.
But those are really the biggest ones. We are also making the continuing with the change of the terminology. So we are switching from the concept of templates to the concept of workflows in terms of the actual terminology inside the documentation and beginning of the next version also with the API. So we are starting the deprecation process of the old templates endpoint and actually you introducing the new workflows endpoint, which is very similar in signature. It's just a matter of the actual naming convention. So
Okay.
like looking in more to the future. So this is also something we will be doing as part of the next few weeks.
Got it. Got it. So, any of our viewers, if you have any questions, something that you would like us to address, um, to answer, I don't know, anything, you can type it right now in the comments, and we would love to address that. I will check if we have anything in particular that someone sent prior. Yeah, so I don't see anything that someone submitted before the office hours. So if we don't have any further questions, let's wrap this live. And again, I would like to thank you all for coming. Dima, thank you for joining me here. I really enjoyed to. Oh, we do have. Can we get an example for Nginx in front of Novu?
I actually think there was one of the support in the support channel. So maybe we can later, Harrison, if you're on our Discord, maybe we can connect a bit later. We don't have anything official, but I pretty sure I've seen somebody from the community created an Nginx config example for that, if I believe, as a reverse proxy,
I
basically.
think that I saw it too. Yeah. All right. So yeah, and of course, if you want to ask any further questions, to get a bit more in depth on different things, just join our Discord, head to our support channel, and it's really the best place to do it. We have two more. Okay, good. We're not wrapping this up yet. All right. So would be helpful if we have a session on how to contribute to Novo with TypeScript for beginners in the future. Definitely, I will take into account of also with the head of the DevRel and DevX department, Prosper. We definitely could tackle this up. Thank you for bringing this up. And is there any option to broadcast messages to subscribers based on custom keys?
So basically, what we have today is a couple of ways to have, depending on the use case. So one of the ways is kind of the more general broadcast, which doesn't really allow this to happen, but it's more of the kind of global broadcast to every subscriber on the system. The other approach to it would be mostly around the topics functionality we have today. So basically, you can create a topic to collect all of your relevant subscribers under this particular topic. Unfortunately, we don't have at the moment the broadcast functionality with a more of a filtering kind of mechanism, but it's definitely something I will see us implementing in the future. So I don't have yet any estimations for this, but in some cases, the topics functionality can work out, but it really depends on the use case. If it's something very dynamic that requires you all the time create topics for that, probably it's not the best way. So unfortunately, we don't have kind of the more broadcast with filtering functionality at the moment. And the second question, does Novu support GCP buckets? Yes, we do support GCP buckets. This is based on the environment variables you will need to provide when starting Novu. We are internally using AWS. This is why most of the documentation is mostly for AWS related services. But if you're using GCP, you still can use the bucket mechanism. I think that the name of the actual service is located in the env configurations in the docs. I don't think if it's there, but I can also send over Discord the actual bucket name. So I think it's called the GCS bucket name, and there is another key you will need to provide in terms of the actual access key. So yes, it is possible.
All right. So let's wrap this live stream. Again, thank you all for coming. Dima, thank you for answering questions and sharing with us the upcoming cycle and the additional information on the upcoming release of the 0.16. And we all really wish you a good day, and we hope to see you more on our Discord and, of course, in our next office hours, which going to be in 2 weeks. So thank you all and have a good day.
Bye.